dreamt about how things were.
Not the end of every enemy of the state!
And then I woke up here.
Alright, Shalom, Shalom. Call hello Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kodash. Double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone are well. And salutation to the brethren on the four corners of the earth, pushing the word of truth and sincerity. I just found out something yesterday, just by Googling and fooling around on Google, man. And what I came across was another military exercise. Another joint government exercise, very much like Jade Helm, but on a smaller scale. Has to do with power outages. Has to do with electromagnetic pulses and cyber attacks. And they're running this all across the state of Wisconsin. Milwaukee County being one of the chief counties that they're running this exercise in, and they call it the Dark Sky Exercise, which is slated for May 15th to 17th at sites across the state. Now, I made sure I got an official document so I can hear the official word on it. Now, this is from the Wisconsin Department of Military Affairs. Now, basically what's going on is Esau is gearing up for martial law, man. He's gearing up, and he's getting his organizations, and he's organizing, and he's getting his contingency plans in place, man, for when he cuts off the grid, for when he starts enacting martial law and starts enacting these pestilences, being released. He'll be ready for it, man. He'll be ready to take on the people, And there's no coincidence that they're running this in Wisconsin. I think this is the first time that they're actually running this exercise as well. I'm going to read into this article, this was published on the 23rd of 2018. Now it's now May 16th, so we're in the second day of this military exercise right now. It says Madison, Wisconsin, a full-scale training exercise simulating a long-term mass power outage in Wisconsin kicks off May 15th. At sites around the state, known as Dark Sky. The exercise runs May 15th to the 17th in Brown, Calumet, Dane, Fond du Lac, Milwaukee, that's where we are, Outgamy, and Winnebago counties, and will test the abilities of private utilities, law enforcement, first responders, and the National Guard to respond to the scenario, as well as its second and third order effects. So they want to test the response time, as well as weaponry, any procedures that they have in place to see how strong they are against a full scale attack or a race riot, in case that the lights, the grid is shut off, or that power is shut off. How are they going to deal with the people? How are they going to deal with these scenarios that are going to come up? It says the public should not be concerned if they notice an increased emergency responder presence, military personnel, vehicles and equipment, or non-military unmanned aerial vehicles operating in their communities during the exercise. So they got drones flying around here, man. The exercise includes an Alliant Energy facility in Fond du Lac County, which will serve as one of the National Guard training sites. The goal of the exercise is to increase understanding of the coordination, policies, and procedures required to conduct a joint interagency response to cyber and physical attack threats to critical infrastructure in Wisconsin. Now, they're claiming that this is a defense against an exercise, a defense exercise against terrorist attacks, but we know what it really is, man. It's an exercise for martial law, man, in case that they have to deal with the people in case of these type of so-called quote-unquote emergencies. So when they cut off the lights, when they cut off the grid, and when they cut off, the electricity, they need to know how to deal with the people. It says Dark Sky provides an incredible opportunity for our first responders, the National Guard, emergency management officials, and our private utilities industry partners to exercise our processes now so we are better prepared for threats to our power grid. Major Gen Don Dunbar, Wisconsin Adjutant General said our emergency management community must be prepared to deal with the myriad scenarios and challenges posed by long-term mass power outage. Now, that's really the crux of the article right there, that they have to be ready to deal with different scenarios that come with not having any power. And scenarios that come with not having any power are race riots, or riots in general. Sorry, you got pestilence. Because once the power is out, you have the hospitals that run off nothing but electricity, man. And bacteria and disease are gonna spread because there's nothing to keep those pathogens in check. You know, they keep diseases in refrigerators and stuff, man. You know, without those refrigerators, those diseases will mold, they'll expand, and they'll spread. You know, and this is all by design, man. This is Micah. Oops, like it. This is Micah chapter 2, verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. So this is planned, man, obviously. This article that's on the government website dates back to what, April? Dates back to April, man. April 23rd, It says, when the morning is light, they practice it. And that's exactly what they're going to do, man. They're doing it right now. They're practicing it. This has been in the plans for a couple of years now, man. And they're putting it to practice because it is in the power of their hand, And it's in the power of their hand to actually put hell on the people, man. So Esau's going to show his true colors. He's starting to show you that he's preparing to show his horns, man. It's Revelation chapter 12, verse 12. It says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time, So he knows he doesn't have enough time to get this right and to get this ready, so he's speeding it up, man. And he's running military exercises like crazy, because he's about to kick this off. World War III is around the corner. He has nothing left to lose, Why not? But one thing he doesn't count on are the prophecies of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, man. Because once he cuts off the grid, once he enacts martial law, once pestilences start spreading, Jake is going to cut loose, man, and really tear the roof off of this place, This is Micah chapter 5, verse 8. It says, and the remnant of Jacob shall be among the Gentiles in the midst of many people, as a lion among the beasts of the forest. So that's one thing that they didn't count on, man. Yeah, you got to cut off the grid. You got diseases and pestilence and food shortages and hunger, but you really going to have Jake running amok, man. Jake's going to show you how they really feel about you other nations and this country as a whole. As a young lion among the flocks of sheep, who if he go through, both treadeth down and teareth in pieces, and none can deliver. That's exactly what's going to happen, man. Jake is going to tear this place up. The other nations are going to be food for Jake, man. Are going to be prey. They're going to be hunted. And that's exactly why Esau is is getting ready, man. That's exactly why he's enacting these military exercises, because he has to figure out how he's going to deal with the people, especially Jake, man. The Black lands and Native Americans, they got to figure out a plan to deal with these people, because we're the most cunning, most divisive people on the planet. So they got to learn how to deal with these people. They got to learn how to put themselves in the same scenarios that they're going to put us in, so they can know how to react. Let's see. Let me go back down here. It says our emergency management community must be prepared to deal with the myriad scenarios and challenges posed by a long-term mass power outage. And by training together, we continue building meaningful relationships that leave us better positioned to respond to a real-world situation, And they're going to create that real-world situation. More than 1,000 participants from the State of Emergency Operations Center, the Business Emergency Operations Center, the Wisconsin National Guard, County Emergency Operations Centers, municipal command posts, the American Red Cross, and federal agencies will participate in this exercise. Now, this sounds a lot like Jade Helm, man, because Jade Helm, you had all those government branches of the military participating in it. This is no different. Just like Jade Helm, they were claiming that they were training for domestic terrorism on the shores. This exercise is the same thing, man, just on a smaller scale, on a statewide scale. So the dark sky scenario includes a variety of incidents that require local, county, and state level response operations designed to exercise each participating unit and agency. The Wisconsin National Guard will exercise its joint staff and the National Guard Reaction Force in support of private utility partners, non-governmental organizations, and local, county, state, and federal agencies for infrastructure security. As part of the exercise, Wisconsin National Guard soldiers will conduct door-to-door health and welfare checks in Amro, Wisconsin. Which a lot of times those door-to-door healthcare checks are going to be, being inoculated with viruses, man. You know, hell, those door-to-door checks are practice for martial law because those door-to-door checks are exactly what they're going to be doing during martial law, man. Going door to door. This time they're knocking on your door, but next time, when a real scenario happens, they're not gonna knock on the door. They're gonna have battering rams, and they're gonna break down the door, man, and drag you out of the house. There's not gonna be any volunteers. You know. The exercise will also test the abilities of public and private sector partners to work directly with local citizens impacted by critical infrastructure failures and to coordinate critical fuel distribution, cyber response, intelligence sharing, and mass care shelters, as well as procedures. So now they're working with people who are going to be critically affected. Now that sounds like the American Red Cross and the National Guard, right? But guess what? Just like in just like in Haiti, just like in Texas, just like in New Orleans in 2005, you're gonna have those FEMA centers, man. That's what they're actually doing. They're actually setting up mock FEMA centers, man. You know, to learn how to deal with those who are sick, who are distraught, but those who are willing to conform. You know, and mass care shelters, as well as procedures for opening and operating the state's business emergency operations center. You know, it says the exercise presents the final phase in a series of related exercises that culminate in Dark Sky. In November 2017, the Wisconsin Department of Military Affairs and private utilities partners conducted Grid X in Columbia and Dane counties. So this is something that Wisconsin has been running for years, man. This is supposedly the final phase in Dark Sky. So Dark Sky is a whole operation, not just the military exercises from the 15th to the 17th of this year, but this has been going on for years. So they've been planning this for years, man. Going back to Micah 2, what are them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds? When the morning is light, they practice it. And that's exactly what's happening, man. They are planning this and now they're practicing it, man. This is going to be the final phase of this exercise, but what's going to be the next exercise, man? It might not be just an exercise next time. It says Grid X also simulated a cyber and physical threat to the power grid, resulting in a Wisconsin National Guard response. In February, the annual statewide interoperable mobile communications, or SIMCOM, exercise simulated a national winter ice emergency that affected 600,000 people and disconnected power to about 50,000 people. So they're running these simulations and playing with people's lives, man, just to see how we're going to react and see how they're going to deal with it, man. And I didn't even know about the exercise they ran in February, called SIMCOM. So what they're doing is they're gearing up for war, man, against the people, and the scriptures prophesied as war, man. Like I said, this is the year of prophecy. I wouldn't be surprised that if this actually happens, on a serious note and is not an exercise, if something goes wrong and they actually end up having riots out of this, man. This is Luke 19:43. It says, "For the day shall come upon thee that evil," that evil. Well, the scriptures say evil is come. But it says, "For the days shall come upon thee that thine enemy shall cast a trench about thee," which is a trap, and compass thee around and keep thee in on every side, meaning surround us, and shall lay thee even with the ground. And they're going to lay you with the ground, even with the ground, by using those battering rams, the modern day gun, those AR-15s, those military grade tactical assault weapons. "And thy children within thee, and they shall not leave in thee one stone upon another." The scriptures say that there shall be like madmen sparing none, man. because thou knowest not the time of thy visitation, because you knew not when the Lord was starting to visit this world, man. This is going to be for a punishment for the 2/3, man, and an affliction for the 1/3 elect. It's my last scripture here. This is 2 Ezra 15:14. It says, "Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh," and it's very soon, man, because the sword and the destruction is preparing itself for you. It says, "And one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hands." So now you got the destruction gearing up, and when the destruction finally happens, and when the sword finally happens, and the grid gets cut off, and the electricity gets cut off, and there's pestilence breaking out, there's no food, there's no water, there's going to be people standing against people, man, to fight against each other, to war, and to take food from each other, man, and swords in their hands, and there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. And that's the part that Esau is getting ready for, man. They're going to be robbing, people are going to be robbing and pillaging each other, but they're not going to regard kings nor princes. The National Guard isn't going to matter. The police isn't going to matter, man. People are going to have the strength, well, the scripture's going to say it. In the course of their actions, they'll stand in their power. So people are going to have the strength to do whatever they want. So they have to have the technical know-how and the organizational skills to deal with this type of situation on this type of scale. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, because there's either going to be barricades, they're going to be quarantined because of diseases, there's going to be bridges that are going to be blown out, For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. So that's exactly what's going to happen, because this is going to be a time, scripture says this is going to be a time unlike any other that has ever existed upon earth, man. It says, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their house with the sword, and spoil their goods, because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation." And that's exactly what Esau is getting ready for, man. And 144,000 and 1/3 elect of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is getting ready for it too. Lord willing, I'm on the number. But the rest of these people out here, man, the 2/3 and and the sons of men, they're going to be destroyed. And this is just further proof that, one, we're coming closer and closer to that time, man. And two, we're coming closer and closer to our salvation. So with that, I want to give all praises, Call Halal, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone, and rule well. And salutations to the brethren on the four corners of the earth, pushing the word and truth and in sincerity. Shalom.